Okay, people, more chaos in the world of anime and manga. I got some crazy news on My Hero Academia. Insane change, especially kind of last minute now, is happening right now. We got manga that are getting anime finally. Manga that potentially are getting canceled, thrown out of the magazine despite a long run. We gotta talk about it. Berserk's return and what that looks like. The Code arc and Boruto, an update on that. There's just so much Dragon Ball Super. I don't want to waste your time with this intro. Let's get into it. Let's talk a little bit of that. ForneverWorld, the only news source that provides anything and everything anime and manga related. And we don't bore you. We get into it. Let's do it.
No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done.
Okay, people, first order of business, please hit that subscribe button and that bell for all notifications. In case you don't know, YouTube has been blocking the god. It's like if I don't exist right now on the platform and you hitting those buttons, if you haven't already, you being connected with me, liking, commenting, everything that you could possibly do really benefits. It just does, because right now, we at a bit of a dry spot here, lads, and I like to just keep it real with you guys, what's going on, honestly. First order of business, My Hero Academia. Fam, if I told you anything different than this, I would be lying in terms of that. I just see non-stop that My Hero Academia fell off. Oh my god, this is the worst it's ever been. Wow, I can't believe at the final hour, you know, the last arc, the last battles, it just fell apart like this. A lot of people have just been absolutely not vibing with My Hero. In fact, if I'm just keeping it real, my own opinion, I felt that for a bit now, My Hero Academia completely switched. It just went from one type of story, the way it was paced and everything, to something rapid, fast, and we started finding out little inklings of, oh, wait a minute, so the editor of My Hero Academia is also the editor, the perpetrator, some might say, of the editing behind Samurai 8, The Hunters Guild Red Hood, which are series that suffered a cancellation fate due to rapid pacing and just all around. Even in The Hunters Guild Red Hood, some might argue that there was meta references of the writer, the author of Red Hood, kind of coming at the editing department, the editorial staff, and saying like, yo, y'all meddled with my stuff. So this editor that has been working with My Hero Academia for I'm not sure how long now, I'd argue maybe about a year at the very least, has been kind of notorious in a sense of not being the greatest, not being a fan favorite. The way he rocks, the quality that he turns out isn't stellar per se, because editors have a big play in all of this stuff, despite the fact that you may think that, oh, it's all Horikoshi, it's all Tabata, it's all Toriyama, even though Toriyama hasn't wrote manga in like 100 million years. You get what I'm saying. There's more to it. There's a whole staff. There's especially the editor. He can be the difference between something going up and down, or going left or going right. They just have that type of power, and this announcement right here is about to change everything, because My Hero Academia right now is getting a new editor. According to this, it says, My Hero Academia mangaka Kohei Horikoshi now has a new editor. Comments from Weekly Shonen Jump number 30. So this is the next one. We're going to cover this week's one in this episode, but this is the following one. This is basically like a leak. Switching the person in charge. Taguchi Sensei, let's go to the barbecue. Imamura Sensei, nice to meet you. Please take care of me. By God, please, Imamura Sensei, please take care of him and take care of this story that we really rock with. I'm not even going to lie. Over the last couple of years, I would argue ever since probably My Villain Academia, maybe slightly after, but definitely with the first war that we had, I really fell in love with this series. It was like maybe a few weeks ago where it kind of dawned on me, holy shit, I really love My Hero Academia, and I never really felt like that type of mindset, I guess. Like, I always enjoyed it. I always thought it was really dope and stuff like that, but it actually legitimately hit me a couple weeks ago. No, I really love this story. I really love this whole superhero world. I really love a lot of these characters. Endeavor is freaking one of the greatest characters of the entire story. I used to be a big All Might fan back then. Like, I really, really love My Hero Academia, flat out. Like, that's just what it is. It kind of dawned on me. And so it's been a travesty throughout this year to see that it just kind of felt a little stiff, a little stale. I talked about it more on this video right here. Go check it out. This My Hero Academia video I recently released, giving my in-depth thoughts on the last 5 or 6 chapters and whatnot. But ultimately, it just hasn't felt the same. And Imamura Sensei, we are looking at you right now, fam. Now that we know your name too, Horikoshi kind of threw motherfuckers under the bus. He was like, the barbecue dude, hold on, what? The dude that he said, Taguchi Sensei. I don't want to be mean about it, fam. I don't want to, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it.
Good riddance.
No! I ain't gonna lie. I did that for comedic purposes. I do not want to be disrespectful by any means. Honestly, I know the way you probably move is in particulars. They probably put a type of editor like that on certain series for a particular reason. So I don't want to bash on dude too bad, but Imamura-sensei, now we're looking at you. So if things don't start to look up from here, if the pacing doesn't start to change to be more adjusted to where it needs to be, if things don't start going into a proper direction, Imamura-sensei, but I will say, ganbatte kudasai. You can do this. Steer this ship back on course to where people need it to be. Again, the Endeavor stuff, I love the Endeavor stuff. It's the pacing and the way the battles and the creativity in certain aspects. Like, let's get those things back on board and back in check, because My Hero Academia is a freaking awesome series, and I hate to be a part of something that everybody is like, oh, it's trash now towards the end, when, My Hero has done some awesome stuff. Let's get it together. This new editor, welcome aboard. Let's kick some ass. And while we're on the topic of My Hero Academia, let's take a look, an updated look at the success of the series thus far, because courtesy of Jos_Ke, it says here, My Hero Academia manga sales evolution Japan. My Hero Academia is currently on what we would say its peak selling point for now, with volume 33 recording an all new high. With season 6 of the anime coming, the series is on a super great state. And that's the crazy thing, because sales tell a different story than what the fandom is saying online, which I guess you could argue that online isn't the real world, right? Because like online, I don't hear none of this, but if you look at the sales, it could be that they just tapped into a different market. That's also, I guess, a possibility of, hey, they were more so initially aiming towards the battle heads, like, the shonen battle community, and as of recent last few years, they kind of strayed away from that and focused more in on family-oriented stuff, I guess you would say, in a weird way, and the way the characters maneuver and whatnot, and maybe that's why. And also the biggest thing is that the female audience, it was very well documented with the last World Heroes Mission film. Oh, women freaking love this. Like, females just really rock with My Hero Academia. But looking at the sales chart, my god, that's crazy. That My Hero Academia, it's only around, wow, that's crazy, season 4 and movie 2 was where it started to dip, and god knows if it was going to get canceled by then, because then all of a sudden it just starts rising up again. And maybe that's when they put this guy in charge around that point, shortly after like movie 2, and maybe that's why it's been slow. No, but then that wouldn't make sense, because at the end of the day, the manga was still rocking heavy with the Shigaraki War. I don't know what the hell happened with that editor, but either way, it's crazy to see that despite online, all I hear is, it fell off, it fell off. The sales aren't saying that. Now, granted, it could be that they're starting to project that the sales might decline because of the word of mouth, and maybe that's why they also switched the editor, but definitely a fascinating piece of work, to say the least, and also to see how far My Hero's come from Volume 1, which Volume 1 was a success off rip, over 100,000, like, what, 125, almost 150, somewhere around there, all the way to where we're at right now. Like, what, Volume 33 was, like, the biggest thing, and Volume 34 is growing. It's crazy. So, My Hero Academia, I want to know what you guys think right now. How do you feel about the editor change? Do you think that's going to improve things? What do you think about also the state of the series, considering sales show a different story? And just your overall expectations for the series now that we have a major freaking change for this in the final hour. Maybe it could get it together. Maybe we could go out with a true bang, assuming My Hero really is going to end and we're not getting a part 2, which, considering this success, like, do you really think going up and away they're going to stop it? Like, it was a little bit different with Demon Slayer, because Demon Slayer came out when it was a different time, and also Demon Slayer had a massive boom. I don't know if they want to end a My Hero when it's going like this, when they could just do My Hero Z, My Hero Shippuden, whatever you want to call it. Either way, shout outs to Horikoshi and My Hero Academia. We'll see where things go. We're midway through 2022 and we're getting a massive change like that. Let's go. Next up, let's jump into some really, really good news. It was a little touch and go for a bit. I was kind of shocked that it took this long, but ultimately we finally got one of the newer generation of Shonen Jump manga catching an anime adaptation. I was thinking that this was going to be announced probably December of last year. I thought, Jump Festa, boom, 2021, end of year, let's do it. And ultimately, it never happened, but it's coming in now. Also, oddly enough, after Mashle was announced to be coming to its final arc, or in its final arc. And yeah, it's Mashle. Basically, it just says here that Mashle will be getting an anime announcement, and it was confirmed in the upcoming issue of Weekly Shonen Jump, issue number 31, with the big announcement. I'm not even gonna lie, it's well over overdue. It also shows, though, again, what I've been trying to tell people, because if Mashle was announced already, final arc, and on top of that, there has been touch and go with the author saying, I'm gonna end it, I'm not gonna end it, no, it's ending soon and whatnot. And then now with this announcement, this is the future for Shonen Jump, at the very least for the time being, of where they're going with it. They're probably gonna start ending a lot of these series first with the manga, and then coming with the anime adaptation, so that way they could almost kind of kill off the manga readership. It's very bizarre. It just must mean that the back end of the anime adaptations and all that stuff, it must be such a large bag. Maybe even these companies are like, yo dog, we're competing with you while you're releasing the manga, we're also competing with the anime. How about we give you an even bigger bag for this adaptation, and y'all end these series early, so also we can have a complete adaptation and people don't feel like, you know, the whole thing. Because initially, probably what it was, even, you know, 10 years ago, for example, the manga sales was probably their bread and butter, and ultimately now it's probably different. They probably don't have to rely on, yo, go read the manga so they can make their money, because probably everything is so lucrative, considering, you know, Sony just bought up this one, and, you know, the West is getting real heavily involved. Anime is more mainstream than it ever was in the United States and stuff like that. Like, that plays a big factor in how they maneuver, and that's probably why, despite the fact that Mashle was, I believe, already over 100 chapters at this particular point, just now getting the announcement for the anime adaptation. And that's that. Okay, we're getting the anime announcement. When is it gonna come? Are we looking at spring of next year? Like, how long will it take is another question. And overall, by the time it comes, Mashle probably will be either over or in its final stretch or something. Like, I don't know. I gotta ask, how do you guys feel about the way they're maneuvering now? We're over 100 chapters, we're just now getting the announcement, and the series is ending. It's really bizarre to me, but yeah, do you think that this is going to be a good move for Jump, bad move? They're going to shoot themselves in the foot in the end? Like, I feel like they probably think, well, we can always bring it back, right? I guess maybe that's also in their minds of, hey, we can always bring it back. Mashle 2, Demon Slayer 2, whatever they want to do. They can always return with the series if need be, if they need a title. Maybe that's the game that they're playing. The same way when Dragon Ball returned with Dragon Ball Super, we could do that with any one of these titles after they have their run. So, also the attention span of everybody just wants to read, you know, a 2-minute thing. They want 100 years of stories in 2 minutes. But yeah, people, Mashle, Magic, and Muscles getting an anime. Okay, I can't wait to see it. Honestly, I feel like One Punch Man's audience is just going to straight away gravitate towards it. It's like Harry Potter, One Punch Man with Rock Lee, Asta from Black Clover. Berserk fans, we have to talk. Berserk fans, I am calling you. If you were skeptical, if you were worried, if you was in fear of what was about to happen to this title, because in case you ain't here, in case you've been living under a rock, Berserk is returning despite the passing of the creator, the late great Kentaro Miura. Berserk's manga is returning. People were skeptical, including myself, of, oh god, how is this going to work? What is the art gonna look like? Because Kentaro Miura was, bar none, one of the greatest artists and greatest storytellers of our time, period. It's just, it's facts, okay? I will hear nothing else of it. It was straight up a 10 out of 10, 11 out of 10, 20 out of 10 type of style. How are they going to be able to match up? Now, we started getting inklings of information of, well, for starters, we had that Studio Gaga that he had set up with apparently his best friend, longtime friend, and whatnot, and he was getting the art style down packed, but it was still like, okay, you know how to draw some type of style of his. How is this still going to work? Like, one of the biggest scares a lot of us had is, remember what happened with Boruto? Ikamoto was with Kishimoto since chapter 7 allegedly of Naruto, and then when we get the first 9 chapters of Boruto, you know, Sasuke looks like Professor Snape from Harry Potter and shit like that. Obviously there was a massive change and a massive overhaul, but nevertheless a lot of us were scared, like, yo, next thing you know, Guts is gonna look like Sylvester Stallone or some shit. Like, we were scared, but we can 100% rest easy, because there's nothing to be scared of anymore. The first images, first of all, there's some leaks, but also the first image alone that came out, a colored page of the Berserk return with Guts and Puck, and I ain't even gonna lie, off rip I was like, okay, it looks, I could see the Studio Gaga change, because Studio Gaga, one of the things that I think is probably due to the way they decided they're gonna just adapt all their anime is it looks 3D. Like, they look like they intend off rip with the manga, let's make it 3D, so when we transition it in an adaptation, people aren't gonna bitch about, oh, it's all 3D CGI, because the manga style will be 3D CG. In theory, that's genius. Like, you're not gonna get any more of the complaints. The fandom ain't gonna be bitching and whining and moaning and screaming and they're gonna just be like, oh shit, Berserk is back. So we got this image, which I am gonna lie is so freaking amazing. But then, and I'm gonna try to be as spoiler free as I possibly can. I'll just show like maybe a face or two or a panel or two, because it is freaking insane what I'm looking at here. The art from the chapters themselves looks straight up like damn near Kentaro Miura. Like I could maybe see a slightly difference, but it looks straight up like Berserk. It doesn't look like, man, Kentaro Miura picked a good one. Kentaro Miura knew what he was doing as he was passing, of training a protege to do and pick up his work from where it left off, because this looks like Berserk. And if this is what Berserk looks like, then we're in 100% good hands, because from what's been told to us, Kentaro Miura's best friend is the one that's doing this, Studio Gaga and all that jazz, but his best friend that knows what's supposed to happen, he probably left him a blueprint on top of that of, you know, A, B, C, D, these are the points, the bullet points of where to go with it. And also the art looks on point. This might be the greatest switch ever of switching the artist, but it still is remaining intact. Now obviously it's a matter of reading the chapters and seeing like, okay, it looks good, he knows everything, how does it write, how does it play, how does it, you know, the paneling, because Kentaro Miura was very cinematic with his paneling. That's going to be a question, and honestly from the little pages I've seen, it looks really great. And wow, Berserk continues on, and it doesn't seem like we're going to be, you know, screaming in agony, because it could have gone really bad. Honestly, the only artist that I would have personally picked from anybody out there that I thought could have handled Berserk was Takehiko Inoue. Maybe Boichi, but definitely Takehiko Inoue would have been the one to do this. But despite it not being Takehiko Inoue, it looks incredible. Berserk fans, rest easy. Berserk is going to be beautiful, good sub, beautiful. Very, very exciting stuff, and I'm happy to say Berserk is back. And despite we don't have the god himself, Kentaro Miura, his spirit lives on within this manga. Let's freaking go! Boruto fans, we've been down bad. It hasn't been a great time to be a Boruto fan in 2022. We've had a couple of decent and really good chapters in the beginning of the year, but it hasn't been great. The anime has been stuck in canon, anime canon, whatever the hell you want to call it, hell for like months now. We had that infamous viral moment of Boruto's crying face, but that was not for the right reasons. It was because animation and art was pretty freaking terrible for that episode. And then on top of that, to, you know, add insult to injury, it was just a week ago that I was reporting to you guys, hey guys, Boruto's going on a hiatus. We won't have Boruto until August. Despite the fact that it is already a monthly series, they're taking a month off. We won't have a chapter till August, and it felt horrible. I was honestly very disappointed, very sad. Like, yo, we had a godlike 2021 for Boruto. The anime was godlike. The year before that, the manga was godlike, and 2022 felt like 2019-ish all over again for Boruto. And but this is at the very least something to look forward to, because according to leaks, it seems as though the Boruto anime at the top of next year is going to get back on track, which means that we still got half a fucking year. Ay, Dios mío, ¿qué me están haciendo? Yo no puedo creer. Ay. Boruto's Code Arc will be adapted to the anime in early 2023, but before they adapt the Code Arc, they'll be doing exclusive episodes related to Code, like Studio Pierrot did for the Tento and Ao arcs. So essentially, we're going to have like a Code activation arc, so to speak. I'm guessing maybe probably fall season it'll start, because we're kind of knee deep into summer now, and I'm imagining they're going to continue on with the fuckery of the terrible shit that they've been doing. But I'm going to guess either fall or definitely, yeah, no, it has to be fall. Fall the latest, we will have the Code activation, we're going to call it that, arc leading into the real, you know, stuff from the manga. Hey, I'm a little bit more excited. I'm a little bit more enthusiastic, and I'm imagining that this leak is probably the big Boruto news that they've been hyping up of, yo, we got big Boruto news coming. That's probably what it is, that the Code arc is coming. I'm not going to say that I'm going through the moon, because even in the manga, the Code arc, there was some really crazy, insane high moments, but then there was also a lot of just kind of the pacing and whatnot. And I think the anime, because the anime, if you notice, it took what the manga did in 2020, and the manga was, you know, it was trending and it had its moment, but 2021, everybody all of a sudden was switched up and, oh, we love Boruto. Boruto's great. Oh my god, it's amazing. Naruto and Sasuke, yeah, Boruto versus Boro. Oh my god. So I think that the anime has the capabilities of making that same level of hype, or close to it at the very least, with the Code arc, because there's a lot of big stuff that actually happens. It's just getting to it. It's just getting to it. And if they're going to do this Code activation arc right, if they do it the way, because as it stands right now, I will say this, and I know people probably don't want to hear this, but if I was comparing it between, let's just say, Code as a villain to a filler villain, technically filler anime canon, Deepa's way better. And if that's all attributed to Studio Pierrot, because obviously it's an anime only character, then please do whatever it is that y'all did for Deepa and add that to Code, so we can actually like this dude. Because as it stands right now, Code is like, if you read the manga, you know, but Code is just, I need more of that feel that I got with Deepa was a freaking awesome villain, and he was anime only. Please give us that. Introduce that element of it in the code activation. Hell, bring back Deepa. I don't even give a fuck right now. Just shake shit up. We need to shake shit up because right now, as it stands, it's just kind of like, But yeah, people, if you were a little bit down because of all this terrible news lately with Boruto hiatuses and all that jazz, look no further than 2023 to enjoy the Boruto anime, the code stuff, and even before that, they're gonna have a lot of setup episodes for code leading into it, which I think this will be a good thing overall for the story. It's not the greatest news in the world, but it's a good thing. I was hoping for a film at this point to kind of revitalize everything, or dare I say it, the thing we've been promised for like 5 or 6 years now, the time skip, assholes. Just a thought. Okay, Dragon Ball fans, is it just me, or should the Dragon Balls have originally been green in color? I feel like they should have been green because it seems as though they just love that Dragon Ball money, and having the Dragon Balls green will remind them of that dollar bill money because, yeah, people, more Dragon Ball movies already coming, and we haven't even got the superhero film over here in theaters in the West yet. Granted, it's out of Japan, but we just got bombshell news that they're already working on more. It was during an interview, they were asked, what are your plans now that Dragon Ball Superhero has been released in Japan? They said, Dragon Ball Superhero is a movie that was made not only for the Japanese audience, but with the whole world in mind, clearly. And I won't even say the whole world, but probably France and, you know, North America. Those are probably the two main markets, France and North America, and then everywhere else. It's like Japan, France, North America, and hey, there's other places is how they look at it because those are the major, biggest manga markets. And Mexico as well. I'm not gonna, shout outs to Mexico. Dragon Ball is a series that Japan is very proud of, so we felt the sense of responsibility while working on the movie. We're indeed releasing it in America this summer as well. What comes next? Well, if you're asking, a new entry on the series is already in the making. Oh my god. Oh boy. Superhero took us 5 years to make, so it's only natural we're already working on what comes next. Toriyama Sensei himself is always working on new DB concepts and ideas after all. We're all thinking about what we want to show the world next. Toriyama is not always working on a goddamn thing. It's when the moment Shueisha bothers him and says, hey, we have a big check for you, he says, give me the fucking check. Here's the napkin. Get the fuck out of my house. Like that. That's just how I imagine it. Hey, Toriyama Sensei, can we come in? What the fuck do you motherfuckers want from me? Go to hell. That's how I imagine it. And then again, he gives them the napkin and they go off on their ways with a napkin that just says, more Dragon Ball, right? More Dragon Ball. There you go. That's the answer, because I'm skeptical, a little bit worried. I mean, honestly, I'm wondering, because it's already in production, is it because they, you know, spent all the finances on creating, you know, all the 3D models and whatnot? I guess I'm just wondering at this point, are they going to continue on with the 3D CG, or is that going to just be a one-time thing? Like, the fact that they're already working on it makes me question, like, well, what are you already working on? A 2D movie? 3D movie? What the hell is it going to be about? Where are we going with this? When is it going to take place? So many questions, but the biggest one is, please, no more 3D CG, and I know that's not going to happen, and I know at the end of the day, I'm gonna, for the most part, have a decent time, I'm sure, watching Dragon Ball Superhero when it drops in August in theaters, but god damn, dog, damn! It all just depends, right? And at the end of the day, yeah, they're gonna see their money. Those Dragon Balls, they're gonna turn them green one way or another, dog. They don't got blue balls, they got green balls, because they want that green cash money. But shout outs to them, because they've come up with the ultimate way of continuously raking in the dough. Like, you know, and also the fact that it took them 5 years to make, highly doubt that. I mean, from what I understand, this movie was in the works prior to Broly, or around the time Broly was made. I don't think that it was 5 years, though. I think that they had the basic ideas, everything jotted down. It probably took 5 years for them to create all the character models and come up with a decent looking 3D CG that doesn't look like Appleseed or the back of my ass cheeks. What the fuck, no. Let me know what you guys think of that one. How do you feel? Do you feel like Dragon Ball Superhero 3D CG is fine and you're okay with the next one being 3D CG? You want them to go back to 2D? Do you think there even is a possibility of them going back to 2D? If they see a giant profit from 3D CG and next time around it's a lot cheaper to continue building because they already have all these character models, they might just say, no, we're sticking to the idea, the plan, and whatnot. Everything else is going 3D CG anyway, so I guess we gotta wait and see. But yeah, Dragon Ball's working working on another one already. Undead Unluck fans, you're not gonna like this one. You're not gonna like this one. You're not gonna like this one. Now, granted, there might be a silver lining somewhere here, but the fact that we're not seeing the silver lining yet makes me very freaking worried, because in case you don't know, Undead Unluck has been going on for a long time. That and Mashle are kind of like in the same generation of manga. They were released around the same time. Sakamoto Days was a little later, but that's also kind of in that bracket of whatnot. We just got word Mashle Magic and Muscles has an anime incoming. We don't have any word or anything like that of Undead Unluck. A lot of people were speculating at Jump Festa, Mashle and Undead Unluck were going to get their anime announcements. That didn't happen. Then Mashle just gets an announcement, and then Undead Unluck gets this, that. Yeah, people are going to be pissed. According to its latest editor note, Undead Unluck is approaching its final fight next week with a color page and a 23-page extension in issue number 31, which means that if it's getting that page extension, probably a few months left at max. Feeling like Groundhog's Day, the terminology used in the editor text is meaning right before the final fight. This was similarly used for the Promised Neverland chapter 169 that ended in 181, and Kimetsu no Yaiba 182 that ended in 205. So ideally we could have probably 15 chapters maybe left for Undead Unluck, and again, it could end off as follows. It could end off like, yo, it ended, boom, anime announcement right at the end, or it could just be one of those cases of like, if you ever heard of Siren, it was a very big deal. A lot of people loved it. It ran for a very long time. Never got an anime adaptation. I think one of the biggest reasons if Undead Unluck ends up not getting an anime and they don't do nothing with it is solely because of the fan service, and because in 2022, people might try to cancel Shonen Jump or Undead Unluck in general because of the beginning of it, that the way they marketed it early on was basically like a Johnny Bravo, you know, grabbing up on a woman and all of that jazz, and that just doesn't work anymore. A lot of people might feel like, hey, that's not right, that's promoting certain type of mentalities and stuff like that, so it might not actually, you know, come to fruition with anything based on that, if that's the mindset that they have and why they've taken so freaking long to even get one. But it also could go in line with what I've been saying for a little bit now, that they're ending a lot of Shonen Jump manga and manga in general first, and then coming with the anime adaptation after the fact. So we can't completely say, yo, they're getting rid of it with no anime, but only time will tell. Then this is kind of worrisome, and it just makes me wonder, like, man, like I've said, not even wonder, like I've said for a little bit now, unfortunately this latest generation of Jump, everything pretty much post Jujutsu Kaisen Chainsaw Man hasn't been ringing off like they'd imagine or they wanted, I'd imagine. Like Mashle Magic and Muscles, it did decent, but it's not like people are screaming, oh my god, like there wasn't no uproar about Mashle not having an anime the last 6 months of what people thought would have happened. So only time will tell. Let me know, what do you think? Do you think that they're gonna do Undead Unluck dirty? It's not getting an anime because of the fan service aspects, the, you know, Andy touching up on Fuko and all that jazz. Like, what do you think is gonna happen? And either way, I really hope they don't do that, because it's gonna betray a lot of fans. There's a lot of people that really highly regard Undead Unluck. They're gonna feel like a slap in the face if this thing ends no anime. And on top of that, the fact that it's ending now, I wouldn't be surprised if it got the word of, yo, it's not going nowhere, you gotta go, lad. But goddamn, Shonen Jump, y'all just heartless, huh? We used to think that, yo, you passed the 50 chapter mark, you're good, you're gonna be in here forever. This just shows that, yo, Undead Unluck is what, over 100 or close to 100, somewhere around there, and no anime in sight. Time will tell, though. Quick update for Jujutsu Kaisen, the manga, in case you ain't here. Jujutsu Kaisen will be on break in Weekly Shonen Jump issue number 31, and will resume in issue number 32 as scheduled. That's probably the perfect time. In case you ain't noticed, I've been catching back up with everything. I caught back up and made a big video on One Piece, caught back up and made a big video on My Hero Academia. I'm up on Boruto. I think I got like a super video in the works, so definitely this will be a great time for anybody, for that matter, to catch up on Jujutsu Kaisen. Letting you guys also know, if you watch my channel, you've been, you know, wondering, was that coming? It's coming. And if you've been thinking about maybe I should catch up, probably be a good time. Take that break, catch up on Jujutsu Kaisen, and we check back in a couple weeks, and yeah, I'll have a big video on that too, because I've been hearing some crazy stuff. But yeah, I'm always fine with these authors getting breaks. Get as many breaks as you need. Just don't go the Tagashi route and say, yeah, I'll see you guys in 8 years. Yeah. Okay, let's jump into the Weekly Shonen Magazine and Weekly Shonen Jump author comments, courtesy of Jose_Ke and Weekly Shonen Jump, of course. Starting off with Eiichiro Oda, creator of One Piece. I'm taking a break. There will be a special feature in Jump during the break. Please enjoy Uta Nikki and the music video. Very well deserved, Oda. Then we got Gege Akutami, author of Jujutsu Kaisen. Movies and shows I want to see all come at once, even when it's not the holiday season. Why? That's a very good question. Like, for example, with everything anime and manga related, but especially anime, it's all coming fall. Like, it's been a drought. You just got Spy Family, you know, carrying the torch right now, so to speak. There's really not much that is just going crazy out there. We're all waiting for the fall season. reason. It's money-wise. It's marketing dollars. It's the time of the year. Everybody wants to push their big dogs, especially now that anime is so mainstream. The third and fourth quarters is the biggest times you want to put out a project, especially the final quarter. And if you're putting October, November, December, you got Chainsaw Man, Bleach, all of these series. It's, yeah, I kind of trailed off, but shout outs to Gege for noticing that. A genius would notice that. Then we got Hajime Komodo, author of Mashle, Magic, and Muscles. I've started working out again, and I'm feeling great. Food tastes great. Yes, baby, the workout is real. Kohei Horikoshi, author of My Hero Academia. The high-frequency cutter I bought for the previous chapter just arrived. What should I cut? Well, we know you cut your editor. Oh! I'm sorry, I had to do it. I couldn't resist. My fault. My bad. And let's wrap things up with Gen Osuka, author of Doran Dororon. Ebido-san, who always helps me, has a one-shot in the Japanese issue. Please give it a read. Okay, so he's in tune with the North American and other places, I imagine, because that's probably why he had to specify, or he wanted to specify, it's in the Japan issue. Like, the one-shot probably won't be over here in the, English North American jump. So also, it's really become apparent that a lot of these authors are just helping each other out. Like, hey, my guy got a, something going on in this magazine. Check it out. My guy's doing, like, we've heard a lot of that as of recent. Really cool stuff. Then let's mosey on over to the Weekly Shonen Magazine Author Comments. This is a different magazine with Kodansha Publishing. Let's start off with Kanen-sama by Nonko. I love bunny girls. Okay. Then we got Hiro Mashima, author of Eden Zero. I recently started a YouTube channel, although I'm not sure why when I'm already so busy. Because you're a workhorse like us. You're a hustler, you're a G, you're a real one. You put in the work, you put in the grind, you put in the hustle. You do all of that to get things going. Big ups and respect. Ken Wakui, author of Tokyo Revengers. I've been watching the case files of Kendaichi each week and loving it. Shunsuke Mikeda is so cool. That's one that I know if I ever got into it, I will probably love it and not stop watching it because it looks reminiscent to Case Closed in a way. It's just more on the law aspect of it. I would probably really have a blast watching that someday. I don't know whether it be in old age or not. I plan on sitting there and watching like everything Kendaichi because I know it just screams at me like, you will love this show, fam. You will. We got Negi Haraba, author of Ranger Reject. I drew a school for the first time in a while. Yay. Tia, the editor of Blue Lock. I'm not popular with the ladies at all. Didn't he always say that he gets all the ladies? Like, Nani, so there was you just front and dog was straight Cap, and oh my god, Cap in Weekly Shonen Magazine. No! I've come to realize that lately when Urana says, I'm going to go draw, what's actually happening is they're going to sleep by Ando. Oh, okay, I'm imagining either that's the editor or somebody else that said basically when Kei Urana, the author of Gachi Akuta, says, I'm going to go draw, homie just goes and relaxes and chills out and goes and has a nap. Okay. Get on your hard work stuff, fam, because you don't want to lose this opportunity. Gachi Akuta got a little bit of noise off rip, and yeah, be serious about, don't be taking them naps, bro. No, but seriously, get your rest. Then we got George Morikawa, author of Hajime no Ippo. I was mesmerized by Domain in the Saitama Arena. Shoutouts to Morikawa. Recently, I saw on Twitter there was a Spaces being held by him and Hiro Mashima. That was legendary. And we'll wrap this up with Yoshitoki Oima, author of To Your Eternity. The type of meatloaf I've made is of the too much variety. Oh, okay, you made a lot of meatloaf. Man, I haven't had meatloaf in a minute. I wouldn't mind some. Yeah, people, those were the author comments we got from Weekly Shonen Jump and Weekly Shonen Magazine for the week. Let me know what you think. Always a treat. And yeah, I think I'm gonna keep on doing them together. It's just way more easier and it gives you guys more content in one go. Dandadan fans, it's been a minute. We haven't checked in a minute, and I know I always say, yo, I'm gonna read it back eventually. I'm gonna catch back up. Well, I've been catching up on a lot of manga, so you never know. It might happen very soon. But we got an update on Dandadan and just showing that, yo, dog, it has stood the test of time in terms of its sales. It says here, courtesy of Jose_Ke, Dandadan manga sales evolution Japan, together with Spy Family and Kaiju number 8, is one of the biggest series of Jump Plus, and you can see why. Right now, I would throw the argument when it comes to Shueisha, there's a big 3 argument for Spy Family, Kaiju number 8, and Dandadan, and that is one hell of a variety for a big 3, and I support that. If that is the big 3, I am all for it. Kaiju number 8 is a type of Attack on Titan battle series. Spy Family, very, I don't want to say lighthearted because it has some cool, crazy stuff in there too, and Dandadan is just absolutely insane. 3 different types. That is easily the big 3 of Jump Plus, I'll say that. A tremendous start from there. It's only seen a little increase over the first year in publication, so it pretty much started off crazy. Over 90,000, probably 100,000 sales. It increased with volume 2, and then it kind of just been up and down, and then volumes 4 and 5 has pretty much stood the same. But Dandadan, man, yo, I told you guys way back when, after I read, I don't know, it was like the first 5 or 6 chapters and I made my video, I was like, this shit is freaking gas. It was from one of the previous, I believe, assistants to Chainsaw Man, Tatsuki Fujimoto. Like, yo, if you rubbing elbows with Fujimoto, I gotta at the very least give you the benefit of the doubt that you can make some greatness. And then Dandadan has been pretty freaking fire. Pretty freaking awesome. Shout outs to this author. And yeah, man, let me know. Keep it a buck. Would you be cool with screaming the new big 3 is Spy Family, Kaiju number 8, and Dandadan? And I'm not, obviously there's My Hero out there, there's a bunch of other series, but in terms of sales, I believe all 3 of them outsell My Hero. I believe all 3 of them outsell majority of what's in Jump, minus Jujutsu Kaisen and One Piece, which you throw the argument, okay, then they got to be a part of the big 3. But in terms of just Jump Plus, those 3 have made so much noise over the last like year and a half to 2 years. Chainsaw Man fans, well, in case you ain't here, I made a little small video that we're gonna insert right here if you missed it, because yeah, a lot of people didn't get their hands on that video. Play the clip, Chris, so they could see what I was talking about Chainsaw Man 2. Well, he just announced Chainsaw Man 2's release date, and oh my god. And now that you've seen that clip, we got a little update as well that Chainsaw Man has reached 13 million copies in circulation with the manga. That is absolutely flames of something that didn't even have an anime. It still doesn't have an anime. It doesn't get its anime till October, but we got July 13th. Well, technically, I got to give you guys an update. July 12th for North America, we'll be having the Chainsaw Man 2 start. So there's a little update from the previous video that, according to Shonen Jump, July 12th, we will be getting Chainsaw Man 2, but 13 million copies, can't front on it. And then there was also this big commercial promo that they did, like, I guess it's a Diamond or Pearls crossover or something with a company called Tasaki. I'm so out of the loop of that one, but I just saw some of the art. You have Makima, you have Power. I was just like, oh, man, this series is too much greatness. We don't deserve how great this series is. Like, shout outs to Chainsaw Man! Tokyo Revengers fans, despite the fact that there's been a little bit of slander lately for the series, we got a little bit of good news here that Tokyo Revengers will be starting in Makapoke, a new spin-off manga titled Baji Keisuke Kara no Tegami by Natsu Kawaguchi Yukinori. Chapter 1 will be published in Shonen Magazine issue number 35. So I'm wondering, did they stop that gag? It was like a parody of like real life Tokyo Revengers. Did they stop that one already? But this is a series I know people would love to read more about. Baji, that would actually be fire. I think this will probably be the best thing. If you've been soured to Tokyo Revengers, if you haven't been digging it or whatnot, this will probably restore the feeling, I'm hoping. So yeah, if you want another Tokyo Revengers manga about Baji, there you go. I think this is some good news in light of a lot of, you know, there's the good news that the anime is returning for the Christmas arc here soon. But yeah, new Tokyo Revengers manga. Cool beans. Okay, people, and lastly, I wanted to do a little bit of an addition of music in here. Please let me know what you want me to talk about in the world of music. I am not averse to talking about, you know, anything, heavy metal, hip-hop, whatever you name it, whatnot. But in particular here, I wanted to cover a couple things. For starters, y'all know Drake released his latest album, Honestly Nevermind, and sales is looking like he's anywhere from 200,000 to 230,000 gonna be first week sales. We'll have them probably by the next episode of FORNEVER News. I can update you on what they did, but I want to say that honestly, in terms of the quote-unquote pecking order, the big 3 of hip-hop, which arguably is almost becoming like the last generation's big 3 at this point, because we got newcomers like Lil Baby that is looking like he could take the throne. There's a few other ones in there. TDE got some stuff coming in, but ultimately, seemingly based on the last 3 releases from Kendrick, Cole, and Drake's latest album doing 200 to 230,000 on a very pop commercial attempt, even though it's, you know, last minute, ultimately is a lot lower than honestly what I would have expected. But also in comparison, I want to say Cole's last album, The Fall Off, it did, what was it, like 250-ish, somewhere around there. All of them did about 200 something, but Kendrick, his album did close to 300,000. So in terms of the 3 latest release from the 3 of the, again, I'm gonna say previous generation of the big 3 of hip-hop, Kendrick right now is on top in terms of the sales stuff. His did 300,000, and each week has been doing like 80 something thousand. And in terms of quality, that album, Mr. Morale and the Big Stuff, was, oh my god. incredible freaking album, amazing album, honestly album of the year. And yeah, it's looking like the pecking order has switched even in terms of commercial success for the big three of hip-hop. Of Kendrick's on top all the way around, quality, sales, everything and whatnot. And yeah, it's interesting to see that Drake is now the underdog in terms of sales if this album comes out selling 200,000 first week. And again, I know there's going to be the people, the naysayers, oh, it was last minute, dog. This is a pop commercial album of, you know, just straight up meant to be popular. And also in hip-hop related news, TDE making moves. We got A Room Full of Mirrors, and also Daylight recently released a new record featuring Punch. I believe it's called When the Storm Comes. I will link it in the description below so you can go check it out if you want to pick it up or whatnot. Very awesome song. Next up, man, the next generation of TDE. Next generation, just watch, dog. Just watch. But yeah, people, that's all the stories we have for today's episode. Curious what you guys think. Most important story, favorite stories, anything I didn't talk about and you're like, yo, Fornev, something in the music world you want me to add into this new segment that we're going to be officially stapling on in every episode of, I want to talk more hip-hop and stuff like that. This is ForneverNews. I'm Fornev. Let's go. That's all I have for this one. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. And remember the golden rule. Anime and manga for life, boy. Have an awesome day. Peace, and you guys just watched another episode of ForneverNews. Have an awesome day. Subscribe and hit that bell, baby.
So just go to